Welcome back, everybody, to the Law and Crime Network. I'm Rachel Stockman, and I have a guest with me who I'll introduce in just a minute. But first, we are live today in a Georgia courtroom where a couple who took in two young foster children are now being accused of physically abusing one and murdering the other. Jennifer and Joseph Rosenbaum are facing a number of charges in connection with the suspicious death of 2-year-old Layla Daniel. There she is. Foster mother Jennifer Rosenbaum told police and doctors that she choked on a chicken tender and died. The mother claims she tried to do CPR to save the little girl, but didn't know how to do it properly. Layla suffered from a severe pancreas that medical professionals say could not have happened from administering CPR, even incorrectly. Yesterday and today, we've heard from a number of witnesses and who observed Layla after her death. And right now, we're live inside the courtroom where a new witness just took the stand. Let's listen in. All right, we're listening to this school counselor who had a number of sessions with Millie, who was the sister to the victim who died in this horrible tragedy. The counselor is talking about what she said, talking about how there was fighting between Jennifer and Joseph, and she's really describing how Millie felt about what happened following that day where her sister died. I want to bring in Vincent White, who's an attorney. He joins me on set. We're just listening to some of this testimony. I got to tell you, it's really heartbreaking to hear because this little girl was 4 years old when this happened, and I can't even imagine what it must be like to process. But in terms of what this particular witness said, there were some things that I think both of us can agree were pretty damning for the defense.
Oh, absolutely. Millie's testimony was already so impressive, and Counselor McCullough is telling us that we can trust her. We can add that extra credence to her testimony in spite of her age.
Yeah, and talk about when she's she made reference, this counselor, and who, by the way, I think, would you agree, comes off quite genuine on the stand?
Absolutely.
She makes reference to an incident where she thought that her parents were going to kill Layla.
And that's such a horrible thing for a child to think that and to live that way. And you have a counselor recounting that to us, to a jury. What is everyone thinking?
And she's also talking about, you know, we'll probably get more into it, but perhaps the fear and some of the abuse that she may have had to endure. Really quickly before we have to go to a break, what do you make of the defense's case here in terms of what you've seen so far, this chicken tender excuse? All right, I mean, that's their theory anyway.
You know, I think defense counsel is doing an amazing job in a terrible situation. I would not want to be in her place. It is a tough job.
It certainly is. Okay, we've got to take a quick break here on the Law and Crime Network. We're going to take you back inside that courtroom in Georgia for the case against those foster parents. Stay with us. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Ann McCullough, former school counselor to Millie, the sister of the victim who died in this case, on the stand undergoing cross-examination. Want to bring in Vincent White, an attorney who's been my guest this hour. Thanks so much for being here. Let's talk about the effectiveness of the cross-examination. Do you think the attorney's doing a good job here?
You know, she's trying to attack Millie's testimony indirectly in a way that she could never attack Millie. I think that is a very intelligent thing to be doing.
So it sounds like, if I'm listening to this right, she's basically trying to say, well, because the great-grandma was there a lot of the times when she was saying this stuff to the counselor, and the great-grandmother obviously had bad feelings about the Rosenbaums, was bashing them and saying that they were abusive, that perhaps Millie could have been influenced by that person, her family member being in the room.
Yeah, certainly. She's trying to cast doubt through this theory of undue influence, the power of the older adult over the witness.
But I thought it was pretty powerful when she said, listen, I've been doing this for a long time. I speak to children all the time. I believe she was telling the truth. How impactful is that to a juror?
I think that's going to be incredibly impactful, especially after hearing Millie, who is so impressive.
Yeah, what a tragic case. Okay, we have to get in a very quick break. Vincent, thank you for standing by. You'll be with us for a few more minutes here. We're going to take a quick break. We'll take you back live inside that Georgia courtroom in just a few minutes. Stay with us.